Welcome back, everyone. As you can tell, we are not at home. We're out here with Chad from the 3 of 7 channel. Did I get that right?
3 of 7 project, yeah, man.
Almost half of it.
Yeah, good enough.
So he's got some pretty cool guns that we're taking a look at. One of them is going to be this guy right here. What is that?
This is the Dan Wesson DWX, and this has been my personal favorite pistol that I have ever owned. And I'll talk to you guys once we get into the video about why I purchased this and kind of what its primary use is for me. But Dan Wesson DWX.
Awesome. So I've actually never shot this gun. I've seen it a ton. I've watched his video on it, which is great. Definitely check it out. There'll be a link down below. But we're going to fire the first shots today with it, get some first impressions, and just talk about the gun after that. So let's get to it.
Looking forward to it, brother.
All right. Is this actually zeroed?
It is, yep.
An inside tip on YouTube or something behind the scenes, a lot of guns on YouTube are not zeroed.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Good to go, brother.
Got a little ahead of myself. One thing that is certainly nice is that trigger. It has a 1911-ish style trigger with that straight pull to the rear. Made me a little overconfident there, I think. That is smooth. The slide, definitely for a custom 1911, it feels like it's just sliding on ball bearings, if that makes sense. Like there's no creakiness in the recoil impulse. It's very smooth all the way through. And the pistol settles right back down to where your dot was, which certainly is nice. You want to take a few shots?
For sure.
All right.
I always like shooting a DWX, man.
Twist your arm, right?
For sure, man. You got a mag for me?
I do.
Sweet, thank you. She likes to eat, son. She likes to eat.
I can tell. Before we continue on, I have a pretty cool contest to tell you guys about from our sponsor, 1775 Coffee. Imagine winning a prize worth over $100,000 just for drinking coffee. A brand new Cybertruck and $30,000 in cash could be yours, but this is your last week to enter and it ends on April 20th. 1775 Coffee is fueling the giveaway, and every dollar you spend equals one entry. No hoops, no selling your data to some tech giant, just small batch, single origin coffee that's roasted weekly and proudly supports free speech, independent media, and your freedom. It's the official coffee of free thinkers, hard workers, and the Rumble crowd that doesn't cave to the narrative. If Rumble is the platform for uncensored truth, 1775 is the coffee that keeps it all moving. Go to 1775coffee.com, use code G&G to save 15%, and enter before the giveaway ends. This is a $100,000 plus prize, and someone's walking away with it, and with 1 week left, it could be you. Now let's get back to that pistol. All right, with those first shots out of the way, just kind of want to walk through what the gun is at first. So essentially what you have here is a steel framed CZ, so has the CZ ergonomics, if you will, with the 1911 trigger pull like I was talking about. That sort of is the claim to fame on the gun. This one is optics cut, however, I believe this didn't come like that, right?
It did not. No, I had to send it off to have the slide milled.
They do make them now, though, that are optics cut, but back then I guess they just didn't. A few things that stand out when you actually get on the gun, those grips have a great texture to it.
Yeah.
Sticks to your hands, and then in the front and rear also has great checkering on there. Ambidextrous safety allows you to get high on the gun and still get a good purchase on that safety, if that makes sense. Beaver tail there, also preventing slide bite. I mean, the ergonomics on this gun are killer, no doubt about it. It points very naturally, right where you want it to be. Also has the SRO, which I dig. And then additionally, the trigger, like we talked about there, flat shoe, and it has that skeletonized hammer. What do you think the break on that is? Do you know?
I haven't tested it. I'm going to say it's probably 4 pounds,
I was
something like that.
about to say 3.5 would be my guess.
3.5,
So
4.
very light, very crisp, easy to hit with for sure. Makes you overconfident if you're me. Overconfident, I should say. And then of course, out here on the front, we do have a 1913 rail to add lights, lasers, anything like that. I believe, I might be wrong in this, but I believe this one here does not have a firing pin safety. So some people out there may be hesitant to use it for duty use on that one. I personally wouldn't be, but that is something you guys can argue about down below in the comments. One thing about the gun though that probably isn't going to be so great. It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap, but you have to think, as far as price point goes, when you go above this, like you're jumping from that, I forget what it was, $2,000, something like that. But if you want to go a step above this, you got to go a big step up in terms of price. So, you know, going from this to something like an Atlas 2011 or something, you're going from this price point, which is on the lower end of a really, you know, high performance gun that you can go out and compete with.
Sure.
That's what I love, because it's hard for me to put $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 into a handgun.
A handgun, I
and
agree.
So this really hit it for me on the price point. Although it is high in comparison to a Glock or, you know, other striker fire pistols, like
Sure.
it is more expensive, but it's on the lower end if you're looking for something to really get out and compete with. And that's the primary reason I bought the DWX.
Yeah, I agree. It's fast. There's no doubt about it. And that relatively low bore axis also helps getting back on target. To your point, you know, above this, you have your baseline staccatos. Those are still going to be more expensive. And I would probably argue, I know I'm going to get people mad in the comment section, but I'd probably argue this is going to be, generally speaking, more reliable than one of those guns baseline. 2011s, great guns, but you really do have to maintain them. The Dan Wesson and CZ-75s, not quite so much. Not from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add on there?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the issues, speaking of optics, the only issue that I have had with the DWX, and we've actually got it on film, is every now and then when it tries to kick the empty brass out, it's going to hit the bottom of that SRO, and it's going to cause a stovepipe.
Sure.
So again, you talked about using this for duty use. I would not run this optic if this was the pistol that my life depended on.
Sure.
Just because that has been the only thing to cause an issue. Have thousands and thousands of rounds through it. Mike, you talked about the trigger, and it's not the lightest trigger in the world, but what I really want in a trigger is something that's crisp, that I can get back to that wall, right?
Yep.
Get that slack out, and when I'm there, from that point to when the trigger breaks, needs to be nice and crisp. I don't want any sponge between those 2 points. And so this really, you know, hits that for me because it is so crisp. It's not the lightest, but it is super crisp. And then you talked about the ergonomics. You know, this, I was torn between the 2011 and this, and looking at both, and also the CZ Shadow 2 I was looking at. And the reason I went with this is because I do like the grip angle and the ergonomics of the pistol better than the 2011. The reason I went with this versus the Shadow 2 is because of, one, the trigger, the flat face trigger, and then two, the safety selector. Because as you know, with the Shadow 2, that safety selector, unless you add the, you know, the bigger one on it, it's really, really hard to get your thumb on that and disengage that safety.
It is, and I mentioned that earlier about the safety. It really is a lot of guns that you can get high on, 2011s for example, a lot of them I have a tendency with my knuckle to bump as well and accidentally put them into the safe position when you don't want to. That has, in my opinion, about the perfect ambi setup. So I don't feel at all that my knuckle's bumping it. I mean, certainly seems pretty fun to shoot, seems pretty reliable. Let's shoot some more rounds.
Let's do it.
Got a click, no bang. Let's see what that was. As you guys hopefully can see there, looks like we had a slightly light primer strike. That's Fiocchi 115 grain. Ran fine after that.
Light strike on the primer, Mike?
Yep. Exactly. Oh.
Yeah, we like to shoot cheap ammo around here.
I think everyone likes to shoot cheap ammo.
Yeah. You know, it's not a bad thing to shoot cheap ammo and have some malfunctions.
I agree.
When you train, man.
Agreed.
I mean, it's great just to work through the immediate action drills and get that through your head, so. if I could encourage your viewers to do one thing,
All right.
it's buy a pistol that you like, set it up the way you want it, and just use that pistol. You see us guys on YouTube shooting all these different pistols all the time. That's not good.
It's not.
Buy a pistol, buy the one you want, set it up how you want, and that's the pistol you train with day in and day out so that you know what that trigger's gonna do, you know when it's gonna break, you know how, you know what's going on with the gun.
Yeah, it's a point I've made previously in different videos. There's a reason YouTube gun reviewers don't win shooting competitions. And one of them is just that. We have different guns in our hands all the time, and you won't really build like high level proficiency with one. At least that's been my experience running the channel.
100%, man.
So,
you got another mag?
yeah.
Might as well blow through it.
Might as well.
Just so steady, man. It just holds so steady.
It does. Well, I've shot up enough of his ammo to know a little bit about the gun. I definitely like it, no doubt about it. It is exactly what I would expect. Like I said, I've handled it before, but getting to actually shoot it, it is nice, it is smooth. I dig it. We had that one light strike. Those things happen. Like you said, it's good to get out and train with it and go through the process. I didn't go through remedial action, which for, tactical self-defense training you might want to do. I was just trying to find out if it was going to go off or not. So that's a YouTubeism. But yeah, all in all, guys, I really like it. Definitely the pros of it, my take anyway, ergonomics for sure. It returns on target very easily. Almost no effort at all. You don't really have to drive the gun like you do with some guns as much. Part of that, of course, is due to the weight with that all steel frame for sure. The SRO, I love the SRO. Like you said though, I wouldn't use an SRO on a duty gun. If you guys watched my test of it, I dropped it once and it shattered. But in terms of other features, the SRO is great.
Yeah, it gives you that nice big window to look through in
sure.
terms of competing. That's a primary advantage of it.
I agree. It's also American made, which a lot of people like. Top mounted battery. It is definitely a good optic. But yeah, all in all, great gun. I think if this is something that you are looking for and it fits your needs, it is something I'd recommend. I mean, it definitely shoots excellent, like you said. Pretty durable. You have several thousand rounds through this guy.
Yeah.
I know other people who compete with it that also have very high round counts and haven't heard of any parts breakages or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the other downside,
Okay.
I want to tell people all the bad stuff about the
sure.
gun if you're wanting to buy it.
For sure.
The other downside is accessories in terms of like holsters, especially because this is not a big high production, pistol.
Sure.
It's a little harder to find your holster set up, and you're looking at whatever way you want to carry. You're not going to have near as many options
That's true.
as you're going to have with the Shadow 2 or something. So that's another thing. If you get the DWX, just anticipate having to kind of pick, maybe find the best out of the 3 holsters that you can find for the pistol, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
So that's another downside to it. But other than that, man, it was a pleasure getting to talk about the DWX with you because, again, it's my favorite pistol. I've got shots on that little steel silhouette there at 150 yards with that pistol.
He's got it on video. I've seen it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty impressive to me. A pistol to be able to shoot accurately that far,
Agreed. And speaking of that, your channel, where can people find you?
Just 3 of 7 Project on YouTube or 3of7project.com.
Perfect. With that, we're going to close the video out. I definitely appreciate Chad for having me out and letting me shoot his guns and his ammo. Who doesn't appreciate that? So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, it's good, Mike.
And definitely check his stuff out. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.